وَذِكْرَى لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. This is admonish and a lesson for mu'mineen when they read about the stories of Prophet. Some Jews, they say that he claims he's the Prophet of Allah, Rasulullah. He claims he's the Prophet of Allah. Ask him about Yusuf alayhi salam and ask them that Banu Israel, they were from Palestine. How come they migrated to Misr, Egypt? Because this is something was happened 1,000 and 1,000 years ago. He doesn't know anything. If he's a prophet, he will tell. This is the 12th para, inshallah. We'll be doing Surah Hud and Surah Yusuf. وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking the responsibility of provision. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, whatever the moving creation on the earth, this is my responsibility to provide them food, to provide their provision, to provide their risk. So we don't need to cheat, lie, because most of the time when it's come to provision, when it's come to risk, when it's come to money, that's the very challenging part. Person starts lying and cheating for the exchange of some worldly benefit, some money. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you don't need to lie and cheat. I am taking care of that part. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَهُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ فِي سِتَّةِ أَيَّامٍ وَكَانَ عَرْشُهُ عَلَى الْمَاءِ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Two important points in this ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the heaven and the skies. The earth and the sky. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them in 6 days. And the second point, to test you. Now, this is very important one. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took 6 days to create all of them? Because to teach this human being, when you are doing something, it takes time. Don't rush. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could create them in one time. Kun fayakun, innama amruhu idha arada shay'an an yaqula lahu kun fayakun. That's it, there is. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took 6 days. Fi sittati ayyamin. So this is the teaching for all of us. The lesson, when you and I do something in life, takes time. Takes time, don't rush. And the second lesson in this one, liyabluwakum. All this setup, heaven, earth and heavens and trees and oceans, is not just for pastime. This is for a reason. liyabluwakum, to test you who comes in my court with a good amal. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts talking about all the prophets. Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hud alayhi salam, Salih alayhi salam. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Keep in mind, Nuh alayhi salam, he made the effort for 950 years. He was calling his nation. قَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُ قَوْمِي لَيْلًا وَنَهَارًا. Day and night. And his son didn't accept Islam. Ya bunayya irkab ma'ana wala takum ma'al kafirin. Oh my son, embark with us in this boat. Don't be with non-believers. He said, Sa'awi ila jabalin, I will go to the mountain. When the flood comes, I will be saved. And he was talking with his father, Nuh alayhi salam, and the flood came, and he was the one to drown. And ulama pointed very important point here, that listen, he was the son of the prophet, but he was not in the environment. So if you and I don't get the environment, doesn't matter how much knowledgeable you and I. Sometimes knowledge is not sufficient. We need the environment. And mashallah, I noticed this entire Ramadan, all the iftar preparation, mashallah, done by our youth, our youngsters. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them. This is very important. Even after Ramadan, we need the environment, and the masjid is the best place to create the environment. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about Ibrahim alayhi salam. وَلَقَدْ جَاءَ رُسُلُنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ بِالْبُشْرَى قَالُوا سَلَامًا قَالَ السَّلَامُ. One very beautiful things ulama mufassirin, they mention in this ayah. When angels came to Ibrahim alayhi salam, he got scared that these people are here for something else, because what he did, without any delay, he roasted a calf in front of them, and he put in front of them and said, there you go. And they said, we cannot eat it. Because they were angels, they are free from these things. And one point the ulama mentioned that, listen, before I mention that point, so those angels came to Ibrahim alayhi salam for two reasons. One they said, we are here to give you the glad tidings for your son. You'll be getting a son even in the old age. Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam. That's why never lose hope. Keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. This is the indication. This is the ishara. So he got the son around, he was 90 years old. Ishaq alayhi salam. And the second thing he said, we are here to punish Lut alayhi salam nation. Because they are involved in haram things. We are here to punish them. We are here to destroy their village or city or whatever you call it. So now here, what he did, without any delay, he roasted some food, whatever you call calf or meat, he roasted. And he brought it in front of them. So some shuyukh, they said, when the guests come to your home or you invite him, or when you ask him, don't ask him too much questions. Brother, do you like cold? Do you like hot? Or do you want me to bring it? And brother, just bring it. Just bring it. The another day, like mashallah, there is one brother, he opened a new business. Oh, you know what, I want to do the mashallah donation for the masjid, and no, I should do it. I should. And he was keep repeating himself. I said, brother, you want to do it for Allah, just do it. Why you are keep repeating yourself? Just do it. Don't say it. So this is exactly Ibrahim alayhi salam did it. He just went and he said, bring the meat and put it in front of the angels. And then this is the very scary ayat that all the angels came. وَلَمَّا جَاءَتْ رُسُلُنَا لُوطًا سِيءَ بِهِمْ وَضَاقَ بِهِمْ ذَرْعًا وَقَالَ هَذَا يَوْمٌ عَصِيبٌ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all the humanity. This was the time that angels came and they said to Lut alayhi salam that these people are involved in haram things, you know, with this LGBT, and they have to go from this world. We're going to destroy the entire village. So today the same thing we are facing, unfortunately, and we call it, not we, like people, they call it their rights. And in the reality, these are the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can think about it, in what kind of environment you and I live. What kind of very sensitive, anytime the azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can come because of these haram things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us. Now this is one very beautiful ayat about salat. وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ طَرَفَيِ النَّهَارِ وَزُلُفًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about salat, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the timing, Fajr and Asr, Maghrib, Isha, not Zuhr. Zuhr Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran somewhere else, but in this ayat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about these four salat, Fajr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. And one more thing, Innal Hasanat Yuzhibna Sayyat. Very important ayat. Be with me, brothers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Hasanat, your good deeds, will remove your bad deeds. So Abu Zar raziyallahu anhu was told by Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam that, oh Abu Zar, follow up with good deeds right away after evils. Because we are human beings. If you make any mistake, right away to remove the effect of that sin, of the darkness of that sin, do it right away, good deed. So this is the best solution and the best remedy, because keep in mind, when someone disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the darkness and the curse of that sin remains in person's heart, like his spirituality damaged for 3 days. Continue 3 days, then he has to do sajda, tilawat, askar, then he will get back his ruhaniyat, his spirituality. So that's why even Abu Zar was told that right away, because of this ayat, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Abu Zar radhiyallahu anhu, by mistake, if you make any sins, right away do hasanat. So the effect of that sins will go away. And the last, before Surah Yusuf, please stop making this model sounds, inshallah. Very important ayat. This is for all of us. It was related to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but for all of us, because keep in mind, in Surah Hud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about all the prophets. So in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ رُسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتُ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. All the stories I related to you, O the Prophet of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling him to the Prophet of Allah, all the stories of Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hud alayhi salam, Salih alayhi salam, ma nusabbitu bihi fu'adak, to make your heart firm. That listen, you are not the first one, and you are not the only one. The previous prophets went through with the same hardships. And this is exactly for all of us. We should read the stories, Qasasul Anbiya, for ourselves, for our children. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَجَاءَكَ فِي هَذِهِ الْحَقِّ. This is truth, this is haqq. You just read about all the prophets. وَمَوْعِظَةٌ, admonition. وَذِكْرَى لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. This is admonish and a lesson for mu'mineen when they read about the stories of prophets. So now the very next surah is about the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. Very beautiful story. We heard so many times. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ. Now we will be relating the story, the best story. The best story. بِمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ. So what is the context? What is the shan-e-nuzul of this surah? Quickly. So some Jews, they say that he claimed he's the prophet of Allah, Rasulullah. He claims he's the prophet of Allah. Ask him about Yusuf alayhi salam. And ask them that Banu Israel, they were from Palestine. How come they migrated to Misr, Egypt? Because this is something was happened 1,000 years ago. He doesn't know anything. If he's a prophet, he will tell you. And then they came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this story, this Quran is in Arabic language, because they were Arabs. So they asked the question, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the entire surah. And this is the only surah that Yusuf alayhi salam has been mentioned. No, in another place in the Quran he has been mentioned. That's the only place. And the entire surah is with the Surah Yusuf. This is one context of Shan-e-Nuzul. What was the reason? It's called Shan-e-Nuzul. And the second thing, the similarity between Yusuf alayhi salam and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Because his brothers, they got jealous. Because this person is beloved to father more than us. So they were jealous. And also, there's one other thing. And the forgiveness. So two similarities of Yusuf alayhi salam with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the people of Makkah, they got jealous. How come this ummi, this yatim, this orphan person got the prophethood? Supposed to be good to us. How come he got this prophethood? So similarly, brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, we are older than him. How come he's more dear to father than us? And second thing, in the surah of Yusuf alayhi salam, remember that in the end, Yusuf alayhi salam forgave all of them. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did the same thing in the victory of Makkah. During the victory of Makkah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forgave all of them. And this was the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that a lot of people, hundreds and thousands people accepted Islam because of his akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then this surah was revealed. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. This was the time, and this was the akhlaq, because most of the time our salat, our speech might not inspire others, but our akhlaq, our sweet language, our forgiveness. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam did the same thing on the day of Yawm al-Fath al-Makkah. He forgave all of them and most of them. And they said, you know what? We did so many bad things to this person, and now this person is forgiving all of us. No. This is not a regular person. He's not a king. He's for sure he's a Nabi. And exactly Yusuf alayhi salam did. So this is the beginning ayats, then I'll finish. إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. He came to father, Yaqub alayhi salam. He said, I saw in my dream 11 stars, and the moon and the sun, they are prostrating to me, they are doing sajda to me. And then right away what the father said to him, يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تَقْصُصْ رُؤْيَاكَ عَلَىٰ إِخْوَتِكَ فَيَكِيدُ لَكَ كَيْدًا. Don't tell this dream to your brothers, because this is something glad tidings for you. You will get all the success. And we know in the end they came and they prostrate, they did the sajda in front of Yusuf alayhi salam, and this was sajda at their time, not our sajda. Okay, so one thing, very important thing, I will finish with my talk with this one. Yaqub alayhi salam exposed his children in front of Yusuf alayhi salam. So this is the sign, when someone is harming someone, you are allowed to expose that person. This is not the ghibat. And keep in mind that sometimes we have the ni'mat, we have bounties, try to conceal them. Don't expose in front of the people, because there are so many people, they are not here to to see your success. They are here to see your failure. So this is also the sign that la taqsus ru'yaka. Don't share anything in your life with the people. You might get hurt. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to do so.